Okay, hello everyone. My name is Laquan Williams, and today in this video, I'm going to be doing a review of the season 1, episode 3 episode of Hawkeye that just came out yesterday on Disney Plus, which is called Echoes. Basically, it introduced Echo, the character who's supposed to be a superhero slash, I guess, villain, who's going to have her own show on Disney Plus apparently within the next year. But if I guess she's going to be the anti-hero or something of that effect, where she becomes, I guess she changes her ways and becomes good because she's the head of the tracksuit mafia. She's in charge of it. Her family was in charge of it years ago, but when Hawkeye was Ronin, he killed everybody basically, including her father, who was in charge. So it looks like her uncle is apparently the kingpin. So I don't know if he was. It looks like he's in charge now, but we haven't seen him. But they alluded to the fact that he was the one talking to her when she was a little kid in the video in last night's episode. But we actually didn't see him. We just saw a big, tall guy in a suit. We just saw his hands. We never seen his face. So he could be on her show next year. We don't know. I don't know if he's gonna pop up in this season of the Hawkeye. Maybe, I don't know. So basically, we saw that Kate Bishop and Hawkeye got caught by her stepfather at the end, who's also supposed to be another villain. He pulled out Hawkeye's Ronin sword on him, even though he doesn't know he's Ronin. And they were in Kate Bishop's family house, the mansion. They were looking around to see if they could figure out any details on the security, and also to figure out with Kate Bishop's mother's security, obviously her company, if they could find out anything about the Tracksuit Mafia and the people involved in it. Also with look for Echoes, her right hand man, to see if they could find any information about him. So they found some, but we'll see what happens with that. Essentially, it's picking up where we left off last week, where Hawkeye and Kate Bishop were being held captive by the Tracksuit Mafia, and they're like hidden, obviously abandoned lair, tied up obviously with rope and duct tape to some type of carnival. I guess you can say rides. They got away, obviously, eventually. Hawkeye, obviously, being Ronin, it's looking like Kate Bishop doesn't know that he is Ronin, but it's looking like, obviously, that Echo believes that he is, and she obviously is going to track him down and hunt him because they know that she knows Hawkeye is Ronin and that he killed her father. So, but he did lie to her and tell her that Ronan was killed by Black Widow and that he was there. He saw the whole thing. Echo didn't believe him. She was speaking sign language to him, and she saw that he had the hearing aid, and they were trying to speak to each other. But her right hand man, he talked to her he talked for her as the interpreter to Hawkeye and explained what was going on apparently, so she can read lips obviously. But if you don't know sign language, so she obviously is very smart. She's basically like she is able to copy and mimic people's fighting styles, and she looks to see if you find your weaknesses. She showed her boxing some guy in the ring, and she was able to notice that he was his left hand was being weak, and so she used that to her advantage to take him down. So that's basically what's going on. She's essentially like the Taskmaster. She uses people's moves against them and mimics them. She's deaf, and she uses sign language, and she also has a prosthetic leg. The real actress that plays her does as well. That's why they found someone who obviously fits the role to obviously very perfectly, and that's what's going on. So she'll have her own show next year. I really don't care about that. I'm not going to watch it. I have no interest in it. Kate Bishop as the new version of Hawkeye, which she won't be. But when you go on Google and you type in Hawkeye and it brings up the cast, under her name for the actress, it has Kate Bishop listed as Hawkeye. And when you look at Jeremy Renner, his name under his name, you see his picture, it says Cliff Barton, which I think is really weird because she's just going to be herself. She's not going to be Hawkeye. She's the Hawkeye names. It's not going to be tied. It's not going to be given to Kate Bishop. Essentially, she's not going to change her name to that because Hawkeye is obviously the well-known character. It's just going to be her, but they're doing that kind of by default because after obviously he sticks with his family and retires, obviously, and possibly becomes old man Hawkeye. I don't know what will happen with that, but we'll see. Essentially, they had to get away from the Tracksuit Mafia because they were being held captive by them. While they were also doing that, they were trying to figure out exactly who they were to a certain degree. That's basically what this episode was. There was just a couple of chase scenes with them shooting arrows at them while they're driving cars. Well, actually, it And then when they stopped, they were on this big, huge, I think it was the Brooklyn Bridge, and they were shooting at them. It was pretty cool how they had it with the arrows and stuff with Hawkeye and Kate Bishop, and them driving and weaving through traffic and stuff and whatnot. And Kate Bishop shooting arrows at them and taking out traffic lights in order to slow them down, even though that didn't help. That didn't help because they were still going after them. But it was cool. The fight scenes were nice. I liked it. We'll see what happens though. Essentially, now in the next episode, Kate Bishop and Hawkeye are gonna have to explain what's going on with him being in the house of her mother, and obviously her stepfather, who is another villain slash bad guy who's a master swordsman. We'll see what happens with him in the future, but she has to obviously tell him what's going on because she can't lie because they both are caught, and her mother doesn't know essentially what's going on, that she's running out with Hawkeye. The Tracksuit Mafia had to be explained by Kate Bishop that she's not Ronin. She had the suit on because she found out at the auction where they jumped into there. They ambushed it. They were looking for that suit and apparently anything else that was tied to Ronin. I guess in order for them to steal that, so they somehow the Tracksuit Mafia can lure Ronin out of retirement to come get his stuff back, and they obviously could finally capture him. And obviously, Echoes would obviously beat him up for until he can't move anymore, because obviously Echo would do that because Ronin, who is Hawkeye, killed her father and a lot of her family members, and she's not happy about that. And yes, her uncle apparently is Wilson Fisk, aka the Kingpin. So we'll see what happens with that in the future, exactly if he makes any appearances. We don't know. And we'll see. It's cool. This episode was very good. It was much more action-packed than the first two episodes that actually they released last week together on the same day. There's only 6 episodes in total, so we'll see what happens with that. And essentially, obviously, Hawkeye lost his hearing aid. He had to get a new one fixed and repaired, and he's obviously having problems trying to explain to his kids and his wife that he's not going to be home yet, but he will be home in time for Christmas, obviously, because he had to leave them in order to stay behind in New York City to help Kate Bishop, while his family is back in another state, which I don't know where they're at. They could be in D.C. or I don't know where they're at exactly, but we'll see what happens with that, obviously. It's essentially it. So they're going to be looking for them. The whole situation with Kate's stepfather and him killing his uncle, obviously something that they have to figure out, because Kate Bishop knows, but that her stepfather is evil, but the mother does not, because she's in denial. She's also has a blind spot for him because he has lots of money. He's very powerful. And she thinks Kate's just mad because Kate's mother just thinks that she's mad at Kate and she doesn't want her to be happy, but that's obviously not the case. So we'll see what happens with that. On the show, like I said, has gotten better. This third episode is better than the first previous two, which were okay but good, but this was better. I liked how they had the chase scene, obviously, and I don't know exactly who's going to help them along the way. They said that War Machine's supposed to pop up in the series, and I guess he's supposed to help, obviously, Kate Bishop and Hawkeye in some type of way. I don't know how that's going to happen. We'll see what happens with that. Or if any other allies that they could have along the way help them. But we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, her mother's not going to like her hanging out with Hawkeye and obviously running around town in New York City, obviously getting into fights with the cops and obviously any obviously the Tracksuit Mafia, not the police, but just having to probably be chased by them. Obviously, if they're wanted as fugitives, she still has to be questioned by the detectives about her apartment being engulfed in flames a couple weeks ago by the Tracksuit Mafia, obviously, which her mother doesn't know about. Like I said, obviously, that she knows they're going to know about it. Her mother's going to know about that next episode, since her stepdad caught her and Hawkeye in their big, huge mansion. He was there already sneaking around, and they didn't know that he was there. Kate Bishop thought they were the only people there alone besides them and their dog. So that's essentially what's happening, and that's basically it. The show's has been pretty good. It's been very fun. We'll see what happens with the rest of the season. There's only supposed to be 6 episodes, like I said, in total, just like with the rest of these Disney Plus shows. It's very fun. It's very entertaining. It's cool. I like it. But we'll see what happens. What happens as far as the movies in the future with Kate Bishop, like I said, being a part of the Young Avengers and taking Hawkeye's spot there, along with Ironheart, who's obviously the daughter of Tony Stark, and obviously Ant-Man's daughter is supposed to be involved too, along with some other people on the team. It's supposed to be like a 6-person team for the young teenagers / adults. We're supposed to be the Young Avengers. That movie probably won't, or show probably won't take place until 2023. Possibly. I don't know what happens with that. And if Echo decides to join them after she has her own show and how that works out, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. It depends. But like I said, the show has been very fun and entertaining. We'll see how it happens along the way, and that's essentially it. That's all I have to say about this in my video, and that's basically it. We got to see also, like I said, the first couple of years of this is like a brief intro of Echo, how she was dealing with being at school, obviously in her class being the only kid who was obviously deaf and hearing impaired, how she dealt with that. She explained to her father about her wanting to obviously go to a different school for that, but didn't have the money to afford it. So I don't know exactly what happened later on, essentially, obviously, since they're connected to the Wilson Fisk family / obviously the Kingpin. If that is essentially, like I said, her uncle, Echo has ties to Daredevil, but Daredevil won't make an appearance on the show probably at all. So we'll see what happens with that. That's basically it. That's all I have to say about this. It's very cool to see Hawkeye obviously back, since he's not going to be in any more Avengers movies in the future, and random crossovers, obviously. But we'll see what happens with the rest of the show. That's the end of my review and for this episode of Hawkeye, which is season 1, episode 3, titled Echoes. And like I said, her show Echo will be on next year in 2022. That's at the end of my video. That's all I have to say about this. Again, thank you again for watching. That's it. Bye. Thank you.